Lenten Lunchtime Lesson with Father Andrew at the Society of the Divine Compassion. Friday after the third Sunday in Lent. Looking unto Jesus. Looking unto Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and thus sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Hebrews 12:2. In the Greek, we get an emphasis that is not obvious in our English translation. In the Greek, it is looking away unto Jesus. A tightrope walker fixes his eyes on some object to keep him steady. He does not look at his feet or the rope on which he walks or on the people and the place beneath it. If he did, he would lose his balance and fall. But he looks away to some distant object, and so he keeps his poise. When our faith is challenged and troubled, let us look away from our doubts and difficulties to Jesus. He is the author and perfecter of our faith, because he himself had faith in his Father and his Father's way and in us. We have to look away unto him in darkness and difficulty for four things: for poise, that we may keep our balance; for joy, that deep joy which is so much greater than pleasure; for endurance, the power to go on, going on; and for peace, that tranquility which is the possession of those who are trying with simplicity to do God's will. First of all, poise. There was about our Lord a quality of steadfastness due to three great deep reasons. He had complete faith in his Father. The world was God's world, and God so loved the world. The authorship of the world was love, and there would be a perfecting of the world in love. There is a great text in the book of Esdras. Esdras was terribly troubled for his people, and the angel said unto him, Thou art sore troubled in mind for Israel's sake. Lovest thou that people better than he that made them? So our Lord has had that steadfastness because of his faith in his Father. Then he had a complete certainty that the way of love was the right way, whatever the apparent failure and hopelessness of it. The Father's way was not just good nature. It was no glossing over sin. It was the acceptance of all the consequences of sin, but it was also the acceptance of all the consequences of love. Lastly, he had faith in human nature as having a basic goodness above that which could be reached at last by love, if love, true to itself, went to its uttermost manifestation in completest sacrifice. Now, let us think of joy. Look away to Jesus for joy, for he is all time the fulfillment of Isaiah's poem of the suffering servant. He is, par excellence, the man of sorrows. But he's also the transfigured man, radiant with joy. Knowing in his experience sorrow to the uttermost, he nonetheless had within himself, as the penetration of the apostolic writer apprehended, a joy that enabled him to face the sum of all sorrows that could be heaped up by sin and ingratitude. For the joy that was set before him, he went on to love's destined end. Now look away to Jesus for endurance. Blessed is the man that endureth, says St. James in chapter 1, verse 12 of his epistle. It is often the length and monotony of the way rather than its steepness that makes the chiefest trial in life. It is going on, that is so hard. Looking away unto Jesus, we shall not faint, and in due season we shall reap if we faint not. Toil becomes work when it is recognized as vocation, and work is the happy business of our life. Then we look away unto Jesus that we may have peace. Peace is the authentic halo of holiness. The saints do not need gold circles round their heads because they have the peace of God in their eyes. They have that peace because they have learned to look away unto Jesus. In his very last words to his apostles before he turned to the Father to make his last prayer, before he yielded himself up to all the agony of his passion, our Lord said unto them, These things have I spoken unto you, that in me ye may have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulations, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. John 16:33. So we learn to look away unto Jesus, to find in him the perfecter as he is the author of our faith, and to gain from him that faith, poise, joy, endurance, and peace, which he himself showed forth so wonderfully in his own adorable human life.